Hello and welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video, as always, we'll be looking at some of the cards from the Roaring Skies that are actually gonna go out of the rotation. So, since the Pokemon announced the new rotation for the standard format 2017-2018, we all know that it's gonna be from Breakthrough up to the Burning Shadows. So, actually 9 sets will be included. We only lost 4 sets: Primal Clash, Ancient Origins. Okay, we also lose Double Crisis, Roaring Skies. Anyways, in today's video, I will talk a little bit about cards that we are going to lose from the Roaring Skies. In my opinion, these are the best cards that Roaring Skies set actually has, and that are actually going to go out of rotation. Some of the cards that are printed in the Roaring Skies, for example, like a Wally and an Energy Switch, are going to stay in the format just because they were printed in some of the latest sets, like Generations, like Sun and Moon base set and stuff like that. So, for example, you're going to be able to use Secret Rare Energy Switch and Full Art Wally, for example. So, the first card on the list, starting from the left to the right. So first I'm going to start with Pokemons, then item cards and supporter cards. The first card that we're going to lose is going to be Mega Rayquaza EX. So 220 HP Mega Rayquaza, Colorless type with Delta Evolution, which says that you can evolve your Rayquaza into Mega Rayquaza as long as you have this Pokemon in your hand during your first turn when you play it. That's pretty cool. And Emerald Break, of course, 30 times, 30 for each Pokemon on your bench. Mega Rayquaza was pretty good deck. Until Pearl City was printed in the Breakthrough. Later, we also got in the Guardian Raising that Sudowoodo with the Roadblock, and basically, in my opinion, after that Sudowoodo, Rayquaza completely lost on playability. Still, it was a decent card because even with the Sudowoodo, we can always just Lysander knocks out that Sudowoodo and later just recover easy Pokemon from discard pile with a card like Dragonite EX. The same thing will apply for the Mega Gardevoir with the Desperate, but too many disruptive cards in my opinion. The first one, of course, is that Pearl City Stadium, and the second one is Roadblock Sudowoodo, so that's the reason why Rayquaza didn't see too much play later, how the format was going on. And yeah, that's the first card on my list. The second card, and the best card probably of all times in my opinion, is Shaymin EX, with that ability that you can just draw cards until you have 6 in your hand when you put Shaymin from your hand to your bench. I mean, Shaymin was like 80 up to the $100 range, speaking about full art, and the regular one was like $50, $60, $70 range. Right now you can find a full art for like $30 a piece, which is just ridiculous because price just came way down when we actually get that new Tapu Lele GX, because Tapu Lele is much better. For double cores energy, it can strike for 20 for each energy attached to both Pokemons in play. Plus, it has no weakness, only 1 retreat as well as the Shaymin. It will not allow you to draw cards that they have 6 in your hand, but you can just easily set up cards like a Bridget, expand 3 Pokemons in your bench. One of them can be a Ranguru, one of them can be a Remoraid, so you can even turn to have that Octillery in play. And that's the reason why Shaymin is not playable anymore, and that's the reason why actually Tapu Lele is very popular, and it's around $40 a piece for just a regular art. And that hyper rare comes up to the 60, 70, maybe even more. But the reason why they actually decided to, I think they actually decided to stabilize a little bit market with the prices, so most people can afford them, playable cards and competitive cards. So that's the reason why they probably decide to print it a regular full art and hyper rare art, in my opinion. So if you want to have max beam deck, you can always pay much more for the hyper, of course, if you have a lot money to afford you to buy those cards. But for example, if you have only 2 arts like we did before, probably the regular art Tapu Lele would be $60 and the full art would be 80 or something like that. So that's the reason why probably they decided to stabilize a little bit market. So yeah, that's the reason why Shaymin dropped down in price, because nobody these days plays Shaymin EX. Maybe 1 Shaymin per deck, and that's pretty much it, because Tapu Lele is staple right now. Some other cards right here, I'm just gonna go through them. There is a Absol with the Cursed Eyes, in my opinion, a decent card. It would be even much better if it stayed in a format with the Super Scoop Up, because they decided to reprint Super Scoop Up in the Burning Shadows, and you can imagine how good Cursor Died would be with the CGI GX. That would be so broken, because you would be able to play Abdul from your hand, then Super Scoop Up for the CGI, and then do that multiple times and just swap 3 damage counters, 5 damage counters, and doing crazy multiple knockouts per turn. I mean, in expanded format, you can of course play Absol in the CGI deck, but if you play Wildplum, you're not going to be able to do that. But still, in expanded format, we have, for example, AZ, so you don't even need to flip a coin, just as a example. But still, Absol was a pretty damn good card, in my opinion. The next card is Hydreigon EX. Hydreigon EX is Dragon type with the Dragon Road. It's good for the one reason. It's good for the ability that allows you to have to retreat last on your Dragon Pokemons as long as you have Stadium in play, or if there's any kind of Stadium in play. Shred was also very good, especially when Regice was a real deal before the GXs came. Hydreigon was definitely a good card with the Shred, because it was allowed to go through that Resistance Blizzard easily. Next card we have here is, of course, Latios EX. You probably well know Latios. Some people also attempt to play Latios. I also myself tried to play Latios in the CGI deck with that fast rate. It was definitely broken and funny. But yeah, Latios was a very good card, and taking some decks that was able to maybe dunk and knock out those Night March decks when there was in a format in the past. So yeah, I also decided to put Latios on the list, because it's definitely good, as well as the Reshiram with the Turbo Blaze. This was also a very good card to accelerate your Dragon Pokemons. Basically, with Reshiram in the active position, you was able once per turn to use Turbo Blaze and attach Fire Energy from your hand to one of your Dragon Pokemons. I remember my friend playing on the league, on local league, Reshiram with Mega Rayquaza, that from the Roaring Skies that can strike for 300. And Reshiram was a very good card, because you was able to set up down 2 Reshirams and Stadium with a Hydreigon, and you was able to power up 4 energies in just a single turn. Speaking about 4 energies, I'm meaning about 2 Fire energies and 1 double Dragon energy. So you was ready to go, for example, turn 2 with your Mega Rayquaza for 300, or even better, he was ready to go with Giratina, for example, Chaos Wheel turn 1 for like 100, 110, 20, depend if there was a Muscle Band, if there was a Fighting Fury Belt. So definitely Reshiram, in my opinion, good notable card. The next card was a Togekiss. I didn't see too many plays with a Togekiss, but definitely good ability. Searing Grace, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemons, you might look at the top 8 cards of your deck, and you can basically choose energy cards you find there and put them to your Pokemons in any way you like. Some people tried to build this basically with the Mega Gardevoir. I personally didn't try to play this card with anything. I remember my friend also playing this with the Darkrai EX, so there was a lot of different combinations with this deck. He also tried to play that. I personally built a Togekiss Genesect deck probably a year ago, when the Genesect was introduced in the Fates Collide. It was pretty interesting deck to watch. And of course, Shedinja with that Hopeless Cream. Basically, if you're not familiar with Shedinja, it was played with Mew EX. Basically, what was good about this deck, basically with the Team Rocket, or actually with Team Magma Secret Base, I think it is, he was able to put Mew down to the bench, and that Mew got 2 damage counters. And basically, when you evolve a Ninkera into Shedinja, you have already 2 damage counters on your Mew, and with the Rainbow Energy you can add 1 more damage counter, so that's like 3 damage counters times 50 would be 150. And basically with something like Choice Band, even in current standard format, you can go for like 180, which is more than enough to knock out any popular EX or GX Pokemon. That's not, of course, evolution Pokemon like, let's say, the CGI, or maybe some other, like Ninetales, for example, or Metagrosses, but still enough to knock out, for example, Turtonator, of course, if he already had 2 damage counters, Volcanion, and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely Shedinja, good Roach deck in my opinion. And of course, Articuno was a very good card. I remember that Articuno card being played also in a deck that won World Championship, I think 2015. That Archie Blastoise I mean, 3 Edge is a very powerful attack. I mean, you can, with 3 energies, power up this Articuno, so he can theoretically strike for like 120 plus 20 for 3 heads is like 140, and let's say you have Muscle Band in that time, that would be like 160, and if you knocks out your opponent EX Pokemon, you can take 3 prize cards instead of 2, which is just ridiculous. Imagine this knocking out Shaman for 3 prize cards. Definitely very powerful. And of course, moving on to the item cards that we're going to lose from the Roaring Skies. Unfortunately, Mega Turbo will go out of rotation. The problem with the Mega Turbo going out of the rotation is the fact that we are still going to have some Mega Evolution Pokemons around. For example, Mega Gardevoir. But yeah, I mean, it is how it is. I think we're actually gonna have Mega Gardevoir. Let me just check that. I'm not 100% sure. I think we will. I think the Gardevoir Mega is, yeah, it's from the Steam Siege, the Secret Rare, and the Mega Gardevoir is from the Steam Siege. So yeah, we're gonna definitely lose Mega Turbo ability to play. Of course, Caesar, Mega Caesar will be still in the format from the Breakpoint, for example, but there will not be Mega Turbo anymore for that extra energy acceleration. But still, you can play Max Elixirs maybe, theoretically. Yeah, you can do that, but still it's not going to be that super effective as Mega Turbo was. But yeah, Mega Turbo will also go out of the rotation, as well as the Trainer's Mail. Trainer's Mail was later also reprinted in the Ancient Origins, so we can say goodbye to Trainer's Mail, goodbye to Acrobike. Yeah, some of the good item cards will just go out of the rotation, as well as the V-Seeker, so plenty of supporter cards will be played. If you're not familiar with the V-Seeker, V-Seeker was first time printed in EX series like 2005, 2006, something like that. Later on, V-Seeker was also printed in the Phantom Forces, so that was 2014, 2015 standard format or something like that, maybe even to 2015, 2016. Anyways, it really doesn't matter. Then they decided to reprint V-Seeker as Secret Rare in the Roaring Skies, which means it was still in the standard format until today. And for the future format, we're unfortunately going to lose V-Seeker. They might reprint V-Seeker again, who knows if they do that. Probably V-Seeker will just worth maybe 50 cents or something like that. But I hope they're not going to reprint V-Seeker. That's just my hope. But yeah, pretty much V-Seeker, very good card. It will still be good in the expanded format. It will still be playable in the expanded format. But yeah, as I mentioned it, many supporter cards are going to be played right now for the future format. Plenty of supporter cards, actually. You can probably expect to see 3 Guzman per deck, probably 4 Sycamores, 2 Ends, maybe 2 Wikis, maybe even 1 or 2 Mellows or something like that, because those cards are definitely going to be good as well if you're going to play Artillery, or if you're going to play something like Oranguru, so you'll be able to draw those cards, of course. Skyfield is a stadium card, in my opinion. Very, very good stadium, as well as the Winona. Basically, Winona was not played too much. We have Bridget, which is much better than Winona, because Winona can only search 3 Colress Pokemons. For example, Bridget can search any 3 Pokemon, and you can put them on your bench. But Winona can actually search 3 Pokemon, and you can put them into her hand. That's the big difference. Winona is something similar to the Pokemon Collector, but unfortunately just for the Colress Pokemons, and it was not played that much. But these days, for example, with card like Tapu Lele, you can easily play Winona, and you can search your deck for, let's say, 1 Rayquaza, 1 Dragonite, and 1 Shaymin EX, for example, if you play Mega Ray deck. So you can easily recover from being disrupted from Pearl City or Sudowoodo Roadblock. So that's the reason why Winona is also on the list. One of the good item cards is also Wildlands. I used to play Wildlands in Umbreon GX deck, because Umbreon with the evolutions from Ancient Origins with the Wildlands was such a good card. I mean, he was able to strike for 90 or 180 to your active Pokemon and spread maybe 6 damage counters to your banished Pokemon. So against Shaymin's, Wildlands was such a good card before Guardian Raising was printed. I remember myself playing Wildlands in that Umbreon deck and just knocking out those Shaymins from turn to turn. Just insanely good card. And of course, the last card on the list is double dragon energy, so we're also going to lose double dragon energy, which means, yeah, pretty much no more acceleration for those dragon Pokemons. And that's pretty much it, my friends. That's 16 cards that we're going to lose from the Roaring Skies after the rotations. They're just not going to be in a standard format anymore. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Make sure to hit the likes up and subscribe to the channel if you already didn't. Also, let me know what's your thoughts on the cards that's gonna go out of the rotation. So have a nice day till the next time. We'll see you in the next video. Till the next time, have a nice day, of course, and goodbye.